Hello and welcome to this video tutorial from Computergaga.com. And in this video we are going to look at how you can use Excel VBA to format all the instances of a piece of text, of a word, within a range of cells. So what we want to demonstrate in this video is how we can create a macro that would look at all the cells within a list, and in each one it will look for a word that you specify. In this example, the word colour, and every time it sees it inside a cell, it will format it. So we're going to get it to turn red and bold as an example. The way the macro works is it will not format these instances of colour here and here in the third and fourth cell respectively, because it is not a complete match. It's not the whole word in that example. It is part of another string, so it will leave it alone. That's the way that it's been designed in this macro, and can easily be adapted if you wished yours to work differently. Another way it's been designed in this macro is to work on a range of cells selected by a user. So we will need to highlight these 4 cells to get it to run on them. So let's quickly see this in action first of all. If I highlight those 4 cells, click my macro button that I have at the top, and an input box will appear to ask me what word or words I want to use, what I want to look for and format. I'm going to type the word colour and click OK, and it does the business. There it goes. It's formatted to 3 instances. I've tried to use a few different examples here, so even though the word is the first word of a cell or the last word of a cell, and examples here where it's not the only one. And you can see that it's doing the job that we have wanted it to do in this example. Now let's have a look at the code. So if I click my Visual Basic Editor button that I've put on my toolbar, and here it is. Now this VBA code I have made available through a link in the description of this video. If you click the link in the description below this video, it will take you to a page and you will see this code. So you can copy and paste this code and you can adapt it to your needs. If it needs changing, it may be perfect for what you want already. The purpose of this video is not to bore you by watching me write this. It is simply for me now to take a moment to explain some of the different lines and what they may be there for. Especially if you're not too familiar with VBA, and some of this may seem quite nasty. For others of you, it probably makes a lot of sense, and you can get started and just start adapting it. But this is it. This is our sub-procedure. So we've got some variable declarations at the top here. We'll come back to them in a moment. And an on-error resume next statement to stop any pesky little error messages. But let's concentrate with the real deal here. And first of all, we have an input box, which is what we saw capturing the word or words that somebody wants to look for. And I had to type in the word colour when we were doing that, and that has been assigned to a variable called words. So that will store the word or words that we're looking for. The len function has then been used to find out how many characters in that word. What's its length? How big is that word or words? And that is stored in another variable called number of characters. We then get this loop. We've got a for each next loop, which has been used to run for every cell within the selected range, as I mentioned when running the code. So using a variable called RNG there, a range variable, to loop through every cell within the user selection. We then find out how big the range is, how many characters in that cell, essentially. We then find the word that we're looking for. A function called inString is used to look for the word in that cell. Does it appear in that cell? And if it does, find its position. And that is stored in the start character variable there. We then have this other loop, a do until loop. This has been used to loop through that one cell, so that if the word occurs more than once, which it did in the first example, it will carry on looking until you've either reached the end of the cell, there's no more characters left in that cell, or maybe you didn't find it to begin with. Maybe when InString looked for it, it was not successful, so start character would equal 0. So you either didn't find it, or you're at the end, you've run out of characters. It was like the last word maybe. Now we then find out the kind of last character of the word, if that makes sense. So earlier on we found out how big is the word or words that they're looking for, and then we found out the starting position of it, if it's there. So if it is there, it would have stepped into this bit. Then we find out the last character of the word, really, like the next character. So start character plus how many characters there are. And then we start testing. We've got 2 if statements here running to check whether it needs formatting or not. So first of all, there's a little check here to see if there's a space before the word. So -1 on start character there. And then there's another one here to say, or if it's the first word, if it's the very first word of the cell. And then there's a very similar check to say, like, is the first character after the word a space? So we're just trying to make sure in these 2 statements that the word is, a complete match in itself. So like we were looking at when we were looking at the spreadsheet, that it's just a single word on its own and it doesn't form part of a larger word. That is what those checks are for. Now this is where the real magic happens. This is probably what most people, I suspect, are watching this video for. The characters kind of property being used there. That is what is actually doing the formatting to specific characters within a cell. I've gone for bold and the colour red, indicated by this number here, but here we have the cell, object, and then this characters property being used. Format every character from start character to however many characters there are. Do it for this many characters. So these 2 variables supplying that information, and there is done that formatting. This is the real deal here. The last step here really is that once it's done it to one of the words within there, we return the next starting character. So we've just had a quick look to see whether the word occurs again. This is just resetting it so that when it comes back around the loop, we can check again and say, right, well, is it there, or have we run out of characters? So it's just them 2 checks again as it loops back round like it does in the very first instance, so it's able to see that the word is there again. It's there a second time. That is why we have this do loop, and that is what that little kind of resetting gesture is there, to return a new starting character. So that's what each element of this code is doing. I hope that sort of makes sense. It's hard to explain this stuff in theory. I know I'm saying the word and words and all that quite a lot. But hopefully that makes some sense. As I say, if you follow the link in the description of this video, you can see this code, so you can try it out yourself. And there's also a bit of an explanation on that page about it as well. So you may prefer to read that. It may make more sense maybe than my little video description here, I don't know. But hopefully you find this useful. Please work with it. It's just a fantastic other example of how useful VBA can be to specific tasks you need to achieve, repetitive tasks. Please check out some of the other videos we have on our YouTube channel, and come and check us out at Computergaga.com.